I'm Alex Camp, and I did Chapter 3, A Marketer's Point of View, which was really cool for me because I am a marketing major. So it's titled Moving from Control to Engagement, and the chapter opens up discussing John Wanamaker and the first department store and how he advertised that. He was known for his phrase, "Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is, I don't know which half." And it discusses that as more marketing and advertising has moved online, it becomes easier to trace consumer actions. For example, people reached per post, or how many people click each ad or banner that pops up on their screen. In the section, the advertising age is over. Advertising is defined as the placement of announcements and persuasive messages in time or space purchased mass media. We began seeing the big decline in traditional advertising in 2009 when, for the first time ever, the top prize for most prestigious advertising industry award went to an advertisement made for the internet rather than TV. Mass marketing moved to a more digital era where consumers have more involvement in integrated communication. Marketers now have less influence over consumers in how they receive the message and the brand. Although marketers have found new ways to reach their audience, this does not mean that they abandon the traditional marketing methods altogether, such as TV or radio. There have been increases in the number of touch points. If you look at Table 3.1 in the book, it shows not only the increase in touch points, but also the different touch point categories, which started off as just one and in the end is 5 or 6. The best way for marketers and advertisers to respond to this new change is to adjust their strict top-down control strategy to a participative, interactive one. The differences between forcing a message at an audience, the push marketing that Robin discussed last chapter, as opposed to having a conversation with your audience, which involves them. Now marketers' goals include empowering consumers to generate and share their own brand content. We can estimate that nearly a quarter of messages online about a brand are created from consumers themselves. Traditional advertising is built on purchasing consumer attention, whereas social media must build interest and engagement in order to be effective. One important thing to recognize is that through opening this social engagement channel, you're opening the floor for questions on not only the product, but operations, customer service, resources, and various other aspects of the business. There's no fine line between which side of the business you're focusing on. Integrated Marketing Communications, also known as IMC, is another important tool which was used to combat the proliferation of media clutter and build brand awareness. But IMC is not enough, because through social media, the consumer is given a more powerful voice and now has a say in brand communication. Both company and consumer generated messages should create one cohesive marketing strategy. Social media creates conversations rather than one-sided messages. As social media integration ties together the practice of marketing, advertising, and public relations in this new age of interactive media, we must adapt and create a marketing 2.0 and advertising 2.0 to go along with this new web 2.0. Then we need to utilize these new 2.0s to spread brand messages, improve operations and customer service, and provide valuable product, service, and marketing insight to our traditional research. Just to wrap it up, my takeaway points were: 1, that marketing departments and advertising agencies have moved from a controlled push marketing to a more integrative engagement marketing, and that the best way for them to respond to this change is to adjust their top-down control strategy to a participative, interactive one. And 2, both company and consumer generated messages should create one cohesive marketing strategy. Social media creates conversations rather than one-sided messages. My last takeaway point was that we must adapt and create marketing 2.0 and advertising 2.0 to go along with the new web 2.0. And that's all.